This morning in congregations large and small, across the country and around the world, Unitarian Universalists are celebrating and gathering. We hurriedly stop in our usual scramble to get out the door to fill a small bottle or jar with water from our tap, water that might symbolically represent the water we forgot to gather on our summer travels or non-travels. Does any actual water from lakes or streams ever make it to water communion? Watershed moments are turning points, those moments often recognized in retrospect, moments that are permanently altering an understanding. This morning we come together to share insights gained on any travels, or perhaps to reflect on the everyday holiness of the water that flows in abundance from our garden hose. Please join me in a moment of silent reflection as we enter into our sacred time together.
Water unites us. All water is one water, shape-shifting as it goes on its unending cycle. The stream we gather by unites us all, the water of the world, for all of life depends on water. That's why this common everyday element on which our very lives depends is sacred. In our thankfulness for water, let us remember to honor, cherish, and care for it, for our own lives, for all life is touched by water, and for those who come after us. Rain falls upon the surface of the earth and is pulled by gravity. Each drop begins to flow downhill. Drop merges with drop, flowing together into a trickle, into a streamlet, a creek, a mighty river flowing onwards. Some of the water seeps down into the earth itself as groundwater or deep aquifers, where it will stay for days, years, even millennia, until it's pulled up again by tree roots, wells, springs, and geysers, rejoining the dance, flowing, flowing, flowing. The water flows on until it collects in ponds, lakes, seas, and vast oceans. And all the while, the sun's rays warm the water, calling it back into vapor, so light that it can rise up, each molecule moving on its own again, rising into the higher atmosphere, buoyant and swirling, up to where the air grows cool and the water vapor slows and cools and begins to turn back into droplets. Droplets, fine droplets, and join together again and again and again, forming clouds, growing heavier and heavier, until at last the weight of them pulls them down again and rain falls on the surface of the earth. Everywhere on earth, at every moment, somewhere is in this cycle. Cycle upon cycle, flowing, falling, sinking, rising, transforming again and again and again. Our planet has all the water it will ever have and has ever had. This water cycle has been spiraling around us for more than 4.5 billion years. This means the water that we gather for our annual ritual comes from all of the water of the world and also across all of time on planet Earth. The water we gather today has traveled through the root systems of trees long since returned to the soil, burst from geysers that have ceased spraying millennia ago, and flowed down rivers that changed the course entirely over millions of years. This morning, we also remember that the water cycle doesn't only involve rivers and plants and clouds, but involves creatures. The water cycle through us, too, coming in and out of our bodies in many different ways. It means that the molecules of water you gather from the beach could have been tears of joy or sorrow cried by a first person who ever felt love. Or the water from our church sink contains within it molecules that were in the best chicken soup someone ever ate. Or the sweat of the people who built our church and our town. Or in the blood of mothers that birthed their grandmothers, grandmothers, or even in their pee. What and when and where else do you imagine that this water has been? As we gather the waters of community this morning, let us remember that they connect us to everything that has ever been and everything that ever will be. This is the power of water that we share.
In 1980, two Unitarian Universalist women, Carolyn McDade and Lucille Shuck Longview, were asked to create a worship service for the Women and Religion Continental Convocation of Unitarian Universalists. As they shaped that service, McDade and Longview wanted to create a new ritual that spoke to our connectedness to one another, to the totality of life, and to our place on this planet. They included a new, inclusive symbol of women's spirituality: water. They write, "Water is more than simply a metaphor. It is elemental and primary, calling forth feelings of awe and reverence, acknowledging that the ocean is considered by many to be the place from which all life on our planet came. It is the womb of life, and that amniotic waters surround each of us prenatally. We now realize that this worship service was for us a new story of creation. We choose water as our symbol of our empowerment." The November service, held in East Lansing, Michigan, was called "Coming Home Like Rivers to the Sea." As its creators, McDade and Longview enacted their ritual in the liberating space of a semicircle around a large earthenware bowl. They asked 8 different women, each coming from distant places, to bring water, and they did. Water from the Rio Grande and Assiniboine rivers, rainwater from Maryland, water from the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, and others were poured into the earthenware bowl as each bearer described its significance. As the ritual is continued, says Carolyn McDade, water deepens in meaning for us, just as water deepens during its long and winding journey to the sea.
The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus of Ephesus is famous for one belief. He taught his students that change is certain, and because things always change, he declared, we can never step twice into the same stream. So too, our congregation today differs from the congregation that gathered here with water last year, and the year before that, and yet last year is still in our collective memory, and the year before, and the year before that. It is our tradition to mix in some water saved from our previous year's water ceremony, adding it to this year's gathered waters. In that way, the past is carried on with the present. Our past is always with us. A portion of the water in that bowl has been gathered in our first water ceremony.
Each year, as we gather in the fall, it is our custom to offer water as a symbol of our connection to one another. This morning, we will have 4 periods of sharing whatever water we have brought. We want to share with one another not only where our water comes from, but share what it means to us, what it symbolizes in our own lives. First, we will have a chance to share water that reminds us that while some have abundance, others struggle in scarcity. Second, we will share water that symbolizes travel, movement, and change. Third, we will share water that reminds us of life's storms, our concerns, worries, frustrations, and losses. Finally, we'll share water that reminds us of the well springs of our lives. Please don't worry about which time for sharing is the right time. The great thing about symbols is that they are always open to many interpretations. This container, is this on? I can talk loud. This container, empty of water, reminds us of all who lack access to safe and affordable water. I dedicate this first water from last year's water communion, to begin our water communion with the symbol of our solidarity with you at USC and all those around the world who are calling for the human right to water. I also pour out water for the wildfires in California. If you would like to share water representing an awareness of scarcity in our community or our lives, please come forward using the side aisles, bringing your water to pour a little of your water into the common bowl. If you'd like to say a word or two about the significance of this water into the microphone. If you do not bring any water with you today, we invite you to pour some from the glass pitcher into the bowl. You are always welcome to share silently. You do not need to speak to share. If you are on Zoom, please share your awareness of need by chat, and our Zoom chaplain, Danielle Smith, will share your words with us.
I've been saving water to bring, but I forgot it. So now that we're talking about scarcity, here's empty, and this is the water from the faucet that I do not run when I'm brushing my teeth, getting ready for the shower, doing the dishes. So here's the water that I've saved, symbolically a pitcher's full every day.
Good morning. My name is Alison Rognas. This water symbolizes the water from the Minnesota River in Minneapolis, where I got to take my teenager, who was very happy to go, but she's a different person in Minnesota because she doesn't feel welcomed in Florida because of the anti-trans sentiment here. And this water is for all the kids whose parents can't pick them up and take them elsewhere.
Patrick. I also did not bring water from Spokane, Washington, but symbolically gonna add some well water from my family home in Washington.
Danielle, is there anyone on Zoom that's symbolically pouring water for scarcity?
No, there is no one right now.
Thank you. Emil? Okay.
Good morning, I'm Emil. I bought water from my refrigerator, and it's been purified, so I think it's good for the community pool.
This is symbolically the water where we're going to put ashes.
Hi, I didn't bring any water either, but for Father's Day, my daughter bought me 3 sessions of floating in a tank of water in this place called Float. And it was just a really remarkable experience. You absolutely float. But it's just typical of my daughter to absolutely surprise me to even know such a thing existed.
This is the water from the Ogallala Reservoir, which stretches from South Dakota to southern Texas. The unregulated drawdown of water has created a massive water shortage and drought in the center. So, this is water.
We are now going to sing hymn number 122. Please stand in or rise yourself in body or spirit. The words are on the screen if you don't have the hymnal with you.
This is Water by Melissa Jeter. Water is soft, and yet it is persistent. Water flows and takes the shape of the boundaries it is given. Yet, over time, in her persistence, she can carve through mountains. When you try to grab her, you just get wet. But if you can stop grabbing at her, she will hold you up, and you can float and even swim. Water under pressure cleans dirt off houses and can cut diamonds. Water raging can overflow the bounds put upon her. She can drown whole towns, flood freeways. She can put out fire and save lives. So contradictory, both soft and hard, never dominant or submissive. Water sustains, gives, yields to life.
Now I invite you to share water that reminds you of the changes and transformations in your lives, your journeys, whether spiritual or physical.
This water represents the adventure of pulling up my roots and moving to a whole other place where they have seasons.
The water I'll pour will be for our wonderful dog, Charlie, who's transformed my life. Thank you.
Danielle, you're up there on Zoom.
Okay, yes, I have one message from Catherine Cargill. She said that she watched The Secret of Water, the movie The Secret of Water in 2022, and it changed her health and her life, and that she loves this ceremony.
All right, we are going to go to the hymn chant, "The Ocean Refuses No River." The words will be on the screen. This is the water of storm. Now it's time to share water symbolizing the storms in our lives, the concerns and sorrows, confusion and frustration. In lieu of stones, this is our open circle of care this morning, where hearts connect and strengths are shared. The weight of sorrow is made easier to bear. We take this moment to gather the concerns and sorrows of our days. With tenderness, we hold them close. With gratitude, we hold them up. And for this is what is to be human, to be awake and alive. Allow this vessel to be one of receiving and healing as it absorbs your storm. Again, you're welcome to say a word or two about the significance of this water, or pour your water in without saying anything at all. If you are on Zoom, please share your storm, your concern, or sorrow by chat, and our Zoom chaplain, Danielle Smith, will share your words with us. For all those who share, we will hold you in our gaze and make room for you in our hearts, praying that you will find for what you need in the days ahead. So please come forward to share your water of storm and sorrow.
This water that I collected is not from a where, it's from a when. I headed out on April 8th of this year, which was the day of the solar eclipse. Now, when something, I hesitate to call it supernatural like that, but every month we have a new moon, but how often is the sun blocked out by the moon? Which is why I collected this water, because this water represents that breaking of the natural pattern of things. So if there is a sorrow, if there is something that is weighing on your heart, I add this water to our communal water right now so that that pattern is broken, that you know that even though the moon hides the sun will come out again.
I'm Jennifer Leggetti, and my sorrow today is for Elizabeth Hoffman. I attended her celebration of life yesterday here, and she will be greatly missed. She was a role model for me and a wonderful member of this congregation.
Good morning, I'm Betty Tilton. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm going to pour some water today for I'm so short, I wish I was 6 inches taller. I'm going to pour some water today for the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, who have been named by responsible people as people who are eating their animals. I have a concern, a strong concern, the way we treat immigrants in this country.
Danielle, do we have anyone that has shared their storms on Zoom?
Yes, from Catherine Cargill. She says that my cancer surgery is now scheduled for October 3rd. It's a 5-hour surgery. Wish me luck. And I can safely say on behalf of the whole congregation that we wish you the best of luck on that surgery. And from Alison, we have her concern is for her younger brother, Douglas, as he recently lost his job and his wife's cancer has been progressing negatively. And any positive thoughts would be greatly appreciated.
For all those concerns which remain silent in our hearts, pour this water into the communal waters this morning.
From above, a river cuts through an evergreen forest. The strength of water takes on many, many forms. Just as each of you has a unique and necessary strength that you bring to our community and to the work of love. Take a moment now to drop down into the deep wellspring of your own spirit and bathe yourself in the strength that is the groundwater of your person. Are you a roaring fall, wearing rock away with the sheer force of will? Are you a tiny drop of water in a crevice, breaking it open slowly, steadily? Are you buoyant like a great salt lake, practiced at holding others aloft? Are you tenacious like a mountain stream, finding your way down and around every obstacle you face? Are you calm like the pond at daybreak, offering radiant peace by your shores? Are you in touch with hidden depths, pulling from a vast well? Do you soothe like the steam rising from a cup of tea? Do you dissolve away stubborn muck like water left in a pot to soak? Do you soften and smooth the edges like a creeping fog? Do you clear away distraction like cleansing rain? Do you roll with the ebb and flow like ocean waves? Settle your mind upon the strength, the power that is yours. Draw that strength into your heart. Draw it up into your soul. As we gather together the many waters of this community, we need each of your power, each of your resilience, each of your love to make us whole. Please join me in silence. Please rise and body your spirit. For hymn number 4, I brought my spirit to the sea. All right, you're up, Danielle, from the virtual world of Zoom. The fourth sharing of our water.
Yes. As we conclude our water communion, I invite you to bring water that reminds you of the well springs of your life, the water that sustains you when you are feeling empty, the joys that give you hope and buoy you up. Please be sure to tell us your name and speak a little slower than usual so every word is heard. If you are not able to move easily to the microphone, an usher will bring a mic to you. On Zoom, just type your joy in the chat and it will be read aloud by the Zoom chaplain, me. If you have an announcement to share, please email the office by Friday and our administrator will add it to the Sunday e-blast.
Where's the microphone? Hi, everyone. It's Rick and Sandy Triano. We bring this water from our kitchen in Boynton with a little salt added because we love the ocean. Here you go, Rick.
Okay. Where are you? Okay, thank you. It's Rick Triano, and we bring Boynton Beach water to nourish the families in Boynton Beach and to nourish the grass and the trees and the animals in Boynton Beach. Thank you.
Danielle, do we have any virtual water pouring joys?
Yes, we have one from Charlie Cormier. He says that his Friday MRI shows that the liver tumors have reduced in size again, and the next steps are to be determined on the 19th during his appointment with his oncologist.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Ron Roth. Today I bring water from here. I don't know where I would be, and maybe some of you would feel the same way, without being here, without being in this community, without the life and love and joys and sorrows that we share. So I find it sustains me, it brings me closer to others, it brings me out of the deep, dark hole that I would put myself in if I did not know each and every one of you. I don't know all of you as well as I wish, but someday. My joy is a reunion that we finally had together with almost all the members of our family here locally, with brothers who came through CARP and are now sober and working and holding their lives together with girlfriends, and don't ask me how, but they found it. And our family came together in the middle of a storm yesterday outside with a barbecue, and the joy of that makes me feel like, again, I couldn't know that and be a part of that family without this family. So thank you.
I was unable to bring water with me today because the water I'm thinking about is when I was a child, which was a very important part of my life, which had to do with the water that sustained me in the schoolyard, the water that sustained me at the water park. And when I think about water in that way, it brings me back to a wonderful time in my life. And so, unfortunately, I couldn't bring it with me, but it's inside my heart.
Pull it down.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What's bringing me joy? Sorry, I'm Amanda. Hi. What is bringing me joy this weekend was being able to participate in the craft fair put on yesterday by the glorious Courtney. I don't think I would be the only one here calling it an unmitigated success. So thank you, Courtney.
Danielle, were there any other sharings on Zoom?
Yes, I have one from Marilyn Fulkowski, who says, I hope Alison, as in Alison Rognas, will bring water from this congregation with her on her next journey. And Alison, I hope you will continue to be with us virtually, and you have brought us so many gifts. And I wholeheartedly agree with Marilyn. And I also want to reiterate Amanda's point that the craft fair yesterday that Courtney organized was amazing and a rousing success, and I excitedly look forward to the next one.
I think it's the last one. This one.
Hello, I'm Christina. No, I can do it.
Sippy cup water.
And thanks to the kid that's always in the tent.
Sharing joy increases our joy. We treasure these joys in our hearts with gratitude and thanksgiving as we journey side by side.
Water unites us. All water is one water, shape-shifting as it goes on in its unending cycle. The stream we gather by unites us with all the waters of the world, for all of life depends on water. That's why this common, everyday element on which our very lives depend is sacred. In our thankfulness for water, let us remember to honor, cherish, and care for it, for our own lives, for all life touched by water, and for those who come after us.